Extra.
Welcome back, everyone. The Alabama Crimson Tide continuing to gear up for their season opener against Missouri. They capped off week 3 of fall camp with a strenuous practice inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium this weekend. Now, while Coach Nick Saban and the Tide continue to work on the fundamentals, individuals outside the program criticized the coach and his team for taking part in the protest earlier this week. Coach Saban says that he and his staff will continue to support all of their players, and he isn't worried about other people's opinions.
I don't have an opinion about everybody else's opinion. I don't have an opinion about, we try to do the right things. We try to provide positive leadership for our players. Like I said, on Monday, we're trying to elevate our players' chances of having success in their life through their personal development, academic support so they can graduate and develop a career, and what kind of career they can develop as a football player. But a part of that is also providing leadership to elevate people around them by using their platform in a positive way. So, and as I said earlier, I'm pleased with the way that happened, and that's that.
The Alabama football team making national headlines for a lot of things, both on and off the field. And also at the end of the day, Nick Saban says he doesn't care about the other people's opinions because he cares about the football players first. Love to see what both of you have to say about the events of this week, and also Coach Saban's statement on these quote-unquote opinions of others. Charity, you get the chance to go ahead and talk about this first.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that this all happened this week because, full disclosure, I actually sent a text to my brother about a week ago, just kind of saying I didn't know exactly how I felt about Saban when it came to some of these issues. And so for me, it was great to see him completely standing up for the African-American community, his players, stuff like that. And he is one of the first college football coaches, I think the only college football coach to do something of that nature. That was very, very bold, and for him to do that in the state of Alabama was a really bold move, but it was something that I felt like was right. It has nothing to do with politics. It's just a matter of standing up for what's right and what's wrong. And so for him to do that, and then for him to also come up and say, I don't care what people think about what I did because I was just doing what I felt was right. I thought that was great. And I also loved how a couple of the players came out the next day and were like, we didn't have to force Saban to do this. He did this because he wanted to do this and because he wanted to stand up for what's right. So hearing the players also say that about him, saying that they didn't have to pull his teeth to do it, I was like, right on, Saban. And I'm with Saban. I don't really care what other people think about what he did. He doesn't care. I don't care. So I just thought it was great.
Yeah, for me, I think a lot of people were upset with the fact that they're bringing, politics into sports. And like you mentioned, it's its own controversial topic of if this is even a political issue or not. And to me, it's not. But also on that note, I don't really understand that argument so much just for the sole purpose of this wasn't happening during a sporting event. They did this on their own time. They did it when they wanted to do it. And to me, it's all about what they want to do, what they feel is right. And if you don't agree with it, that's fine. That's your opinion. You stick with that. Let them do what they want to do. And they're trying to make a statement. I think they did that.
Absolutely. No, you are totally correct on that one. I kind of actually, fall in line with both of you as well when it comes to just, taking a look and thinking about a lot of these things. One thing I've always known about Coach Saban is that he has been a player's first coach. And so when I actually saw Coach Saban leading the pack, I wasn't surprised at all because think about it. It's an Alabama football event. What would it have looked like without Coach Nick Saban, first and foremost? Nowadays, especially over the last 13, 14 years, everything Alabama football related has Coach Saban's name tied to it. Sometimes he even has his wife, Miss Terry's name tied to it as well. So it was really, really good to see that he was, standing up for a lot of things that were either wrong or right in this country, depending on how you take a look at that. But at the same time, he definitely loves his players. I love the speech that he came out with. And I also love the fact that the athletic department was so behind this, because if you look through the video, you see Greg Byrne. He got a chance to talk. There were other Alabama athletes, other Crimson Tide athletes, softball team members, gymnastics members, baseball members. Those individuals were all part of the process to make all this happen. And sure, it was well received by most. And for the other individuals that don't think that, like I said last week, just got to educate yourself. And education coming today from Mo Carter. Think about this. They went to the Foster Auditorium. Foster Auditorium is a famous place on the University of Alabama's campus, but in the civil rights era, you may recall that there was one governor named George Wallace who had his famous speech about segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. So you think about all the years later, and you see the Alabama athletic department led by the football team getting up there and, trying to push for change all these years later shows that progress is being made. It's just a step-by-step process in that. And Charity, like you said, I think Coach Saban is probably the first coach to literally step out on the college level and talk about these things. And then after that, you started seeing other coaches come in the forefront. I think I saw yesterday in one of the football games was at Eastern Kentucky against Marshall. East Kentucky, they had their regular shirts on, but then after that, they had enough is enough on the back. So, I mean, it shows something. It also shows that people are making change, and hopefully, more changes to come as we continue to fight for a lot of things and make a lot of things happen when it comes to equality for all individuals of gender, race, and skin colors.